1, 2, the dolly sleeps. 3, 4, the teddy speaks. 5, 6, darkness near. 7, 8, Sallie's here.
The singing was soft yet impossible to ignore. It came from a room that hadn't belonged to any child for decades, a room where no one had lived for years. And still, sometimes, something inside would move. It happened on the north side of the small town of Atchison, Kansas. The street looked ordinary, small houses, each with a front yard and an old tree by the fence. But one of them, number 508, felt wrong. People called it the Sallie house. Back in the 19th century, a doctor lived there with his family. He helped the local townsfolk and treated patients in a small room by the window. One day they brought him a little girl. She was pale, sweating and clutching her stomach in pain. Her name was Sallie. The doctor believed she had appendicitis, and he had to act fast. But the anesthesia didn't work as it should have. And when the knife opened her skin, the girl screamed. That scream stayed in those walls long after her heart stopped beating. From that day on, strange things began to happen. At night, small footsteps echoed down the hallway. Sometimes doors would open by themselves, and toys, ones no one remembered leaving there, would be found in different places by morning. People said Sallie never left, that she was waiting for her doctor, or maybe just looking for someone new to play with. Years passed and the house grew old. Families came and went, but none stayed for long. Then, in the 1990s, Tony and Deborah Pickman moved in. They were young, newly married, expecting a baby. The house felt warm at first, peaceful, even welcoming. But after a few weeks, Deborah began waking in the middle of the night. From the nursery came a soft rustling sound, as if someone were gently sliding toys across the floor. Tony thought it was exhaustion, maybe her imagination. Until one morning he woke up with 3 fresh scratches across his chest that hadn't been there before. They said Sallie never harmed women. But men, yes. Men reminded her of the one who hurt her. Tony couldn't sleep anymore. Every morning brought new marks on his body, as if someone punished him for something he never did. Deborah tried to believe it was all stress, but she too began noticing strange things, tapping sounds, lights flickering on their own, toys moving slowly, as if someone unseen wanted to play. All those faint sounds felt like breathing, quiet, slow, waiting. One night, Deborah heard their dog barking furiously at the staircase. He barked into the darkness, teeth bared, fur standing on end. Tony grabbed a flashlight, but its beam barely cut through the dark. On the wall by the stairs, he saw a shadow, the small shape of a child standing by the railing. And the moment he shined the light on it, it vanished. In the morning, on the wood where it had stood, were tiny fingerprints, as if a child had been holding on. But there was no child in that house. After weeks without sleep, they finally decided to call for help. Not a priest, but paranormal investigators. In the 1990s, ghost shows were just beginning to appear, and Atchison was the kind of town where people spoke about such things quietly, but often. The team arrived with cameras, recorders, and thermometers. That evening, as filming began, the air inside changed. It grew heavier, colder, and the silence had an unnatural depth. On the tapes, they captured the laughter of a child. No voice, no words, only laughter. But when they played it back, a whisper could be heard underneath.
Play with me.
Tony, sitting in the corner, suddenly felt a burning on the back of his neck. Deborah screamed, 3 fresh scratches appeared on his skin as if from tiny fingers. The investigators lifted their cameras, and for a split second, a figure flickered in the mirror. Small, wearing a white dress, hair tangled, eyes empty. And then, nothing. In the following days, things worsened. Doors slammed shut. Pictures fell from the walls. Tony claimed he heard someone calling his name at night. Deborah swore she felt someone sit on the edge of the bed, though no one was there. The house began to find its own rhythm. It breathed, it lived. And those who stayed inside slowly became part of it. Tony was losing patience. Each day brought another shadow, another sound, another fear. Deborah began keeping a journal. Her notes were later used as evidence. Proof that this was one of the most documented hauntings in America. Eventually they left. But Sallie wasn't alone. People who came after said they heard a child's laughter, felt hands on their shoulders, saw toys move by themselves. After the Pickmans left, the house fell silent. Windows stayed closed, curtains still, yet neighbors said they sometimes saw light flicker inside at night. A small shadow moved across the stairs, quick and light, as if someone were running up and down. The house at 508 North 2nd Street became a name everyone in Atchison knew. Spoken softly but never forgotten. Later, the town opened its doors. The Sallie house became a place for tours and overnight stays. People came for the legend of the little girl who died after a failed operation by the doctor who once lived there. Some wanted to feel the chill that lingered in the halls. Others searched for proof that Sallie was more than a story. Soon, investigators and TV crews arrived. They brought cameras and sensors, but no device could explain the strange silence that filled the house after midnight. Visitors spoke of unseen touches, toys that moved, and a presence felt in the dark. All left with the same feeling, that the house was hiding something that did not want to be disturbed.
1, 2, the dolly sleeps. 3, 4, the teddy speaks. 5, 6, darkness near. 7, 8, Sallie's here.
The voice was soft, barely audible, yet its echo clung to the walls. It felt as though the house was waking again, as if, after all these years, it was still waiting for the next person brave enough to enter. Everyone who spent a night inside described a different experience. Some said they felt pressure on their chest. Others spoke of shadows near the bed. A few left with scratches. Others carried only an unease that wouldn't fade for weeks. But all said the same thing. Sallie was still there. Locals learned to walk around the house. When they passed by at night, they crossed to the other side of the street. The wind that swept down the road carried a strange tone, like the faint laughter of a child, soft and distant. No one looked back. Everyone knew there was nothing there worth seeing. The Sallie house had become a legend. A place that was once a home had turned into the town's memory. A spot where the line between life and whatever comes after had blurred. And anyone who stood before it too long felt something staring back. Today, the house still stands on the northern edge of Atchison. Its plaster crumbles, paint peels from the doors, and its windows reflect only emptiness. Yet they say the house still breathes. For all those who once left, but never truly did. The town keeps it as a reminder, and though it's now open to the public, few manage to stay through the night. Those who do say they've heard a child's laughter in the dark, felt movement in the room, pressure on their chest or a cold hand on their shoulder. Some left in fear, others in quiet sorrow. No one knows why Sallie remains. Some believe she died in pain, that the doctor who tried to save her cut too soon, that she screamed, begged, and in her final moments thought he meant to kill her. So her soul never found peace. Others believe she wasn't alone, that more souls linger inside, and Sallie is simply the one heard the loudest. Maybe that's why she sometimes seems to laugh, to play, to be what she was before the knife. The explanations differ, but share one truth. The house carries the imprint of suffering that never healed. Its walls hold that memory, and anyone who steps inside becomes part of it. For just a moment. It's a strange feeling, sorrow, cold, and tenderness. And maybe that's what Sallie seeks. Not revenge, but understanding. When the town falls silent and the streetlights fade into fog, the upstairs window reflects only an empty room with a few old toys. Yet those who look long enough swear they see a small figure in the mirror. A little girl playing with her doll. No one knows if it's a trick of the light or something more. But everyone who's seen it leaves with the same feeling. That something still moves inside. Something small. Something that never grew up. Because some children never fall asleep. And some houses never stop breathing. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Foggy Truth tells real events that were never supposed to happen.
But did.
1, 2, the dolly sleeps. 3, 4, the teddy speaks. 5, 6, darkness near. 7, 8, Sallie's here.